Hello, folks, and happy Friday. So, thanks for joining me. I am trying to minimize my screen at the same time so that I can. Okay, here we go. Okay, so welcome to my YouTube channel, CFM Elite Lifestyle Business. Although I don't even remember whether I've written it on there. But either way, my name is Chiko Matenda and I am based in the UK. So today I'm talking about getting out of your head and stepping outside of your comfort zone to stop overthinking, especially if you are in this position where you're constantly overthinking and stuck in your head. And I've been there. And this past week or couple of weeks, I went to Zoom. Long story short, it had an impact. So the impact meant that I couldn't be as proactive as I wanted to be. This is linked to fibromyalgia, but that's another story for another day. So I had to take it easy. And one of the things that I noticed was when you move into the comfort zone and you take it easy and relax, so does your mind. And then this is what happens. You can easily get into the comfort zone. So part of me was, although I wasn't feeling too like 100%, part of me was like, I'll get back into it. Like when I'm feeling a bit better, then I could hear my mind going that there's an aspect of me that was saying this is okay when I know it's not okay. So this is about getting into the comfort zone to the point that you actually don't do anything and it feels so like a blanket. You don't feel like stepping outside of it, and you can sense that you're procrastinating and you're thinking tomorrow will come, but does tomorrow actually come? So some of the common fears that you may have been experiencing, let me just adjust my light just a little bit. Okay, so over like this past week, although it's not looking like it, I've like invested in a few gadgets, and one of the ones that I'm disappointed in is my lighting. My mic, I think, is working brilliantly. We'll see after this live session, but I've got like these like little gadgets. I don't know if you can see it clearly. Okay, so that was meant to be part one of my lighting, and I'm surrounded by other technical gadgets as well. Okay, so back to the topic at hand. The common fears, lack of money and bills. You may be prevented from like moving forward and thinking that you can't do anything else, such as establish your online business because you don't have the money right now, or because of certain factors, because you've got bills to pay. Not knowing enough yet, meaning that you need enough skills before you can even progress any further. So you end up being trapped in this circle of consuming information up to the point that it becomes information overload, and you fear stepping out of your comfort zone to actually do anything about it, to take action based on what you have learned. And you continue months, years on end still learning. Okay, then the other side of aspect of fear would be like, what will others think? What if I mess up? What if I make a mistake? What will my family think? What will my friends think? What will the public think if I step out and actually do something that I'm interested in? Okay, does this all sound familiar? Okay, so I'm raising my hand up because I have been there myself. So waiting until it's the right time. This is the perfect one. Waiting until it's the right time. And the reason why I put up like the gadgets that I got, most people, like I got like a mic as well, a new mic, which I'm excited about. Who knows? I never thought I would be excited about technical factors, but they make a difference once you become an entrepreneur. But yeah, so and then I got a tripod for my laptop, my gadgets, and then I got the charger. What is this? A wireless charger. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is that in the beginning, before you start out your business, you may think that you need all these little gadgets before you can establish yourself. That is another lie to yourself, because nowadays we've got this little gadget that works just as fine. But there's something in your mind that is fear that may also like a self-limiting belief that might be telling yourself that you need to show up being this super perfect, have this like be in a glossy environment, be in a 5-star hotel before you can even like publish any of your content. That is also another lie, another self-limiting belief, and also something that you might be culturally or socially drawn to because that is what you see on social media. Okay, so I'll move on into the next one. Procrastination. That's another one. Thinking that you are a certain type of an individual. You're too shy, or something else has come up. And before I even like got to this live session, there was so many things going on in the background. Like I had to set up like the lighting, although I'm not happy about it, but I was just like, let's just go ahead and do this. Okay. Otherwise we'll never get on this live session. And I could see myself like walking around. I was like, okay, let me adjust my lipstick. My hair is not looking the way it should be. Okay, these are all procrastination factors, to the point that you may never get to the stage of actually going live. And what I've learned is to be mindful of those things, of those thoughts that are coming through. And then being so comfortable, as I mentioned earlier on when I first started, in the comfort zone, so much so that you actually don't want to step out. Your mind tells you it's not rational, but you know that you can see yourself physically transporting to so many places that you're like this outgoing individual. You're going to shows, you're going to presentations, but physically you're not moving to go anywhere because of this thing about being stuck in your head. So is any of this resonating? And the reason why I wanted to discuss this today is that part of the venture of being a lifestyle business entrepreneur, a freelancer, or whatever category you may name it, is that all of these factors that I've mentioned, the self-limiting beliefs, the being stuck in your head, they still become part of it. The people you still stepping out, doing certain things, it doesn't mean that they've depleted everything. It means that they've just learned to address those lingering thoughts and learned different methods of how to overcome it so that they can achieve what they want to achieve in life and to live it without any regrets. So as a lifestyle business entrepreneur or a solo entrepreneur, whatever you may call it, one of the challenges is that you are the CEO and the boss of yourself and nobody else. And that in itself can pose so many challenges because you don't have anybody actually saying, but you yourself saying, these are the certain things that you need to be doing and getting on with. And one of the things that actually would drive you to keep pursuing it, because you might be thinking, I'm in a 9 to 5, I'm trapped in this circle, I can't get out because of all the other factors that I've mentioned before, because you're comfortable with your monthly on end pay, because you're comfortable with routine, or you don't see that you could actualize your potential because of your financial limitations. Again, I can tell you that this is a lie that we tell ourselves because we become comfortable. And then we also inherit these fears such as bills. How will I be able to pay my bills? So what I have done, and the advice that I can recommend for you if you're in this position, is to look at it this way. Are you willing to let go and to step outside of your comfort zone? So what I mean by let go is learning how to overcome some of these self-limiting beliefs and lies, or the nice stories that you like to tell yourself, and make them to be true. And to test yourself, to think about what is the most scary thing that could awaken you, to encourage you, to prompt you every single day to actually step out of your comfort zone, to do something about your life and to change it. So family, pets, grandparents, or whoever, or relationship, it's not a strong motivating factor. The reason why I say this is that most people, when they go to like interviews or when they start their venture, they say one of the things that motivated them or is motivating them is family. But the truth of the matter is, that is not a significant push that will make you feel like you need to turn your lifestyle around because you're used to the comfort zone. It's your fallback that you can easily get back into your routine and step back to who you used to be. So it's about something that will scare you enough to make you move forward with your life, so much so that every day, even if you're working 9 to 5, you still persevere through regardless of the thoughts that come across in your mind. Okay, so I hope this is all making sense. And I'm just going to look at some of like the things that I've like I wrote down. So I'm just thinking about, even if you don't try anything scary. No, let me say that again. Okay, so the thing is, what I mentioned earlier, to backtrack so I can regroup my thoughts here. The thing about having this wish is not sufficient enough. Having this will and thought is not sufficient enough. Thinking you're going to do something is not sufficient enough. You need a little bit more push and drive to be able to push through beyond what you are experiencing currently, to the point that when an opportunity presents yourself, you're not thinking that it's going to be immediate gains. You're going to gain financial gains because that's not realistic. The millionaire lifestyle is not realistic. It's something that's superficial because anybody can acquire money, but that's not the ultimate happiness. It is about learning, becoming self aware in all different types of storms to overcome any life challenging situation that presents to you. And this is what then builds the millionaire mindset. It is not about the money, okay, because that is materialistic, it can come and go. So becoming an entrepreneur, overcoming self-limiting beliefs, because this is what entrepreneurs have to live through. Okay, so I'm talking from like my own personal experience. All right, let me just take a little break. Okay, I have got like all this lighting that is making me feel like really, really warm. Okay. And next to me as well, I have got vino. Okay, so I went to Marks and Spencer's, which is like a supermarket wherever you may be in the world. And the best compliment that I got from somebody was like, oh, she looked at me and was about to ask me for my ID. And then she complimented me and said, I look like I was in my 20s. Okay. It's cute up to a certain level, but it actually made me feel good. It's cute to a certain level because we're not in the US, we're in Europe. So it's, people rarely ask for IDs, but I do often get asked that. Somebody looks at me or asks me for my ID. So now back onto the topic at hand. I just like to bring in this like interesting factors of what's going on in the outside world, aside from the topics that I talk about. And wherever you may be, let me know what you're up to. And I think it is legal to actually have a sip of wine while you're online because I'm at the right age. But your kids should not be influenced by my actions. Okay. So the fears, there's so many and they're so numerous. So one of the things that I highlighted earlier was about having a significant, impactful thing that will make you want to change your life around. So for me, there's certain things, and it doesn't happen to everybody. I'm just giving you examples. There's certain things that pushed me beyond my comfort zone, for instance, were realizing that life was too short due to experiencing loss, going through bereavement, and then these were like sudden losses. And also developing a health condition. But before all of this happened, I decided to also follow like a spiritual path. And the spiritual path was about self-awareness. It was about existentialism and challenging myself to make choices every single day, which I would not regret the next day. So I went on that journey. And to me, that was also like an eye opener. But as an individual, I've always been somebody who's ready to explore the world. and to go into unknown places, and to also challenge myself, to throw myself in things which are nerve-wracking. So for some people, you may not feel confident doing that, but that is one of the ways that you can also help yourself to get out of your head. What you visualize, you go for it. So what I mentioned before about these experiences, these significant experiences, they won't happen to everybody. And my advice is that you don't need to wait until a significant experience happens to you before you awaken to the reality that you need to step outside of your comfort zone. Okay, so you can even do that even if your life is wonderful. It is about that little push, that little life vision that you're thinking, that you always think about, but it has to be something very deep, very tangible. Like, for instance, people who are philanthropists, I can't say correctly at the moment, they always look at the giving back. So giving back to good causes, charitable causes. So you might be connected to good causes, and that is something intuitively and instinctively that would drive you to want to change your life around, to get outside of your head and start doing something. Okay, so that can be a motivating factor, because you do also find that there are millionaires out there, and this is not only about wealth, it is about their heart and your intention. But you find that even if you're aiming to become a millionaire, millionaires, most of them, okay, have a cause that they're connected to, they're giving back, even though they may not speak about it, even though they may present themselves in a different way, like on social media. But in the background, they're connected to something that drives them to wake up every single day to be able to produce the results that they're doing. Although it may come across as though it's easy every single day, it is not easy, because we're human beings at the end of the day. So your mind is likely to challenge you every single day, but there has to be that thing that tells you, no, this is enough. I am now ready to make that step, to make that change. So once you then decide to take the leap and to jump, but not literally, then you will start to realize that your journey in life becomes much easier rather than harder. Okay, so you start to experience life in a different way, where when doors were closed, they would start to open a little bit more, and you start to see more opportunities than you had never seen before. You also start to notice that materialistic things are not the priority in life, because one of the things that most people hang on to, and I mentioned like bills, which are a necessity, yes, you have to pay them off, but there are ways of managing that to be able to actualize your truest potential. It shouldn't be something that ties you down and imprisons you. There are ways to manage communication, speaking to whoever your lenders are, so that you can breathe a little bit easier. And then there's choices that you can also make in terms of being able to let go of the things that you crave, which are materialistic, and to actually think about, is this something that is significant and impacting your life the way you want it to be? Or should you minimize on the materialistic things in order to be able to then fulfill your life vision, the things that you actually dream about, which are experiences? So those experiences are the everlasting things that are most impactful rather than the materialistic things. Yes, they're going to be like a few items that are going to be important, where maybe a grandma might have given you something that is worthwhile to keep, or somebody in a family, an heirloom. That makes sense. But sometimes we acquire things along the way, which it is almost like, what is it, an addiction, an obsession, or something you need but you actually don't need, that if you invested it into learning, it could take you a step further, and then down the line you could actually be able to afford something that is more valuable, but in not a significant amount, if that makes sense. Okay. So it is about, this session has been all about learning to let go, learning how to overcome the self-limiting beliefs by challenging you, by then testing yourself, connecting to something that is the first thing that came to mind is life threatening. The reason why that came to mind is that most of the times when we are confronted by something that is threatening, then that also encourages us to actually experience something more that moves us beyond our comfort zone. So, as I mentioned earlier, not everybody is going to experience that, but that's what it feels like, because when you're in that zone, you think about nothing else. Danger does not matter, in a sense that you're willing to take more risks. Okay, so if we're all in that zone, we would be able to achieve much more, because your body becomes much more, your mind becomes much more heightened and aware to the possibility of what you could become. Okay, so I hope you have found this impromptu session valuable. And if you've got any specific questions, comments, feel free to even just say hello. Let me know where you're connecting from by leaving a comment below. And then, should you wish to actually follow me, subscribe above. I'm looking at my ceiling, although you're not here with me. But on my profile above, you will find the subscribe button, and you can also turn on your notifications for when I go on live. So, and also feel free to share out to anybody who needs to hear this message and who you believe can contribute as well. So, bye from me for now, until next time.